Hi everyone, welcome to Grandma Roseanne's kitchen, but more importantly, welcome Anita, because Anita and I are going to make focaccia today. Now, I want all of you to make it with us as well, but Anita has never baked bread. And I am telling her that this is the easiest recipe she's ever gonna find, and the results are just delicious. So I want all of you to join in. It's going to take a little bit of time, but just cook with me on this one, okay? It's good to have your stuff measured out first. And here I have 8 grams of yeast. If you don't have a scale, maybe you should get one because you will use it so many times and they're very inexpensive. But if you don't have one, 3 teaspoons of yeast. And I'm just using the plain dry yeast. You can buy the little packets at the grocery store, Fleischmann's yeast, or however you want to do that. And here I have honey. I have 2 teaspoons of honey, and honey and sugar always activates yeast. So it's a good supplement in there. And then here I have 2.5 cups of water. Now the water is important. It should be between 100 and 110 degrees. Let me check mine. It's 105, but if you don't have a thermometer, don't go get one. Stick your finger in. And Anita, if that is the same temperature that you would have given a bottle to your little boy, perfect temperature to use, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to activate the yeast. So we want to put the yeast in. We want the honey to go in. And some of the water, just a little bit to mix it up. What you're doing here, Anita, is you're making sure that your yeast is alive. You want to make sure that you don't go through a day and a half of, it's gonna be a day and a half, but don't worry, it's gonna be okay. You don't go through a day and a half of making bread, and then finding out that your yeast wasn't alive. So you just mix this up, and you let it just sit for, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes. You just want it to dissolve. And while that's creating its magic over here, I have got bread flour in this bowl. I have 5 cups of bread flour. You do want to use bread flour. You can buy it at any grocery store out there. And I have 2 teaspoons of salt, and I'm just going to mix it up. What you're looking for in the yeast is the bubbles. You're looking for bubbles to start forming around the edge or around, it'll pop up in the middle. That's just telling you that it's alive. Takes a minute or 2. Come in here, let me show her. Do you see, come all the way down here, do you see these bubbles forming right here? They'll either form in the center, sometimes they'll form around the edge. But what that is telling you is that this yeast is excellent and we can go ahead and use it. So now we're going to pour the rest of the water in here. And that was 2.5 cups of water. Okay. And then we're going to add this to our bread flour and our salt. And you're going to want to mix it. And you're going to mix it until it is totally incorporated and you're not seeing any more white. You're not seeing any more of the flour. So it just takes a little bit of muscle in here. But you want to be sure it's very hydrated. Now come in here and look. You see there's still some stuff, there's some flour down in the bottom. You see that? So that's telling me I haven't got it all incorporated. So I need to do a little bit more work here. Now I cleaned out my bowl because the dough is going to go in here. And I have 4 tablespoons of olive oil. And we will transfer the dough into this bowl. Now what you're going to want to do is get your hands in there and just kind of come in so she can see this. You're just incorporating that oil by pulling this up by the edge and just getting that oil worked right into the dough. Do you see how there's almost nothing left of oil in the bottom? That's because it's all into the dough at this point. Now I'm going to cover this with some plastic wrap, and I'm going to cover it pretty tight. You hear that? That's tight. It's going to go into your refrigerator for 24 hours. Don't say, oh, 24 hours. You don't have to do anything. Go play with your little guy. Go, I don't know, go to a movie with Mark. Go do some fun stuff. But in 24 hours, I will come back and then we will continue the process. Thank you for having me do this. I am excited to be making this. Thank you. I'll be back in a day. It goes in the refrigerator. Okay, Anita, we're at day 2. Hopefully yours has been in the refrigerator for 24 hours. Now, the rest of you guys, if you don't have 24 hours, you could probably do it with 12. You could do it with 16. 24 is the optimum, but it's bread. It's not that fussy either. So if you were gone and it went an extra 2 or 3 hours, nothing's going to happen to it. I will forewarn you that when you bring it out of your refrigerator, it's going to be really hard to work with. It's going to fight you. So what you might want to do is bring it out just a little bit, 15, 20 minutes sooner. That way it's going to loosen up. It'll be a lot easier, and that's what I did here. Now, let me explain this first. I'm going to put it into 2 half-sheet pans like this because I want a flatter focaccia, but normally you could put it into like a 9 by 11 and you would put the whole thing into a 9 by 11. I'm just going to split it. So if you want a little thinner one, do what I'm doing. If you like the thicker one, which would be like this, put it into any size pan, but a 9 to 11 will give you something like this. I'm looking for something like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split it. Oh, you guys. When you start working with dough, you know when you got really good dough going, and this is good. So I will also advise you that if you are going to split it up, you might want to just weigh it out, or at least try to get it as close as you can to being even, because they're going to bake at the same time. So I want them about the same amount of dough in each one. Perfect. All right. And if you're going to not split them, don't worry about that step. Now, whether you're splitting or not, you want to liberally put olive oil on the bottom. And if anybody is wondering why focaccia bread is so flippin' good, it's because we use so much oil in it. This recipe, as I said yesterday, it takes a long time, but you're not doing anything, you know? It's just doing its deal, and you can go off and do whatever you want to do. All right. Now, putting one in each of these. And now you want to spread it out. So if you haven't really allowed that dough to loosen up like this part would be hard for you. It would be hard because it's just going to want to go back into itself. You want to get it as even as you can. Nothing is real fussy here. You don't have to be real careful with it. You're not going to hurt it. For those of you that are new to baking focaccia, I'm really excited for you to try this because it's almost fail-proof, really, and so incredibly delicious. There. And then we'll get this guy out. And if you're enjoying this, I've got a pizza recipe. I've got 2 pizza recipes that are already out on video that are just extraordinary. They're so good. One is a regular pizza and the other is a Chicago style pizza. Okay. Now I'm going to just kind of loosely cover these and let them sit for 4 hours. I know it takes a lot of time to make this one, but it's worth it. So I'll come back in 4 hours. I will show you what we have accomplished, and then we will be able to bake this and eat it. So thank you. See you soon. Well, all right, we had this rise for like 4 hours, and we're ready for the final step right now. If you'll take a look, these 2 guys, come up, they kind of want to become buddies, and they kind of grew together. So just pull them apart and let them be their own selves there. Now, what I did, when you get this, whether you're doing it in a double or whether you're doing it in a 9 by 12, you want to dapple it. Dapple means nothing more than making little punctures in the dough. So it's just like this, making a little bit of holes in there. And we have dappled on both of these. Now you're able to finish these any way you want. I have got some stuff here ready to go because this is what we love. Here I have olives, and I have the pimento olives, and I have the Greek olives because we love those. Over here I want it savory, so I have thyme and rosemary. Be careful on thyme because it really is a strong herb, okay? So these are fresh out of my garden, and I love them. First thing you're going to want to do, I know, more olive oil, really, but just a little tiny bit on the top, just like this. Little tiny bit, okay? And then the olive ones, I'm just kind of punching these into some of the holes. And I like the combination of the Greek as well as the pimento. So I'm just putting them however they might want to fall. And then in the top of that, some Parmesan cheese. This will be scrumptious. Over here, I'm going to put a little bit of thyme. You don't have to be quite as careful with the thyme. And a little bit of rosemary. Look at that. Roasted garlic. Oh, this is like a gift from the gods, I swear to you. All I did was just take cloves of garlic and I separated them. And I put them in olive oil, and then all I did was just stick them in the oven for, I don't know, maybe they were there for an hour, 45 minutes, something like that, at 250 degrees, just until they got soft. Now, I have a lot in here, so what we do not use, I'm just going to make some garlic mashed potatoes. Oh, they're so delicious. You can also use these just as a spread. Just want to spread them out, put them on toast or a baguette or something. Oh my gosh, they are wonderful. All right. And the reason I like splitting the focaccia is because I get two totally different varieties here. And what you do on the topping is totally up to you. If you want sun-dried tomatoes, if you want jalapenos and cheddar cheese, it's endless. Whatever you choose. Caramelized onions would be to die for on this. Whatever you want. But these are the things that my family likes. All right. Tiny little bit on the top. And Parmesan. Okay, now it's going to go into a 400-degree oven. I allowed the oven to preheat at 400 degrees for 1 hour. Excessive? No, not really. Because if you turn your oven to 400 degrees and it's there until it goes bing, allowing you to know it's there, one portion of your oven was 400 degrees. But if you allow it just to go the full hour, your entire oven is 400 degrees. So now I'm going to put these in. Normally, if you're doing it in a larger pan, it's going to be maybe 20 to 22 minutes. Because I've got these split and they're not as dense, these are probably going to be about 16 or 17 minutes. I'll start checking then. So I will check back with you when these are done. Give me a few minutes. Okay? All right, so here we are. It was actually 20 minutes for both of these. I know they're done because I've done them enough times, but if you want to be 100% sure, thermometer inside at 190 degrees will tell you your bread is baked all the way through. So here we have both of our focaccias, and I'm going to just separate them here. Whoa. And here. And a taste test. Now we have two varieties. I like both, so it doesn't matter to me which one it is. Let's just take a bite of this. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the flakiness of that. It is amazing. And oh my God, that's good. That's really good. Mmm. I love olives. That was so good. So, with that being said, ingredients are below. If you enjoyed the video, a thumbs up always helps. And I love it when you guys comment. So send me a comment. And Anita, when you make this, I really want to know if you love it, if your little guy enjoys it, and if Mark likes it. So I will invite you to come back anytime you would like. I love having you in my kitchen with me. So do yourself a favor and make some focaccia. Bye.